Mr. Right here, and welcome to this film on cumulative frequency. In this film, I'll run through some IGCSE questions about grades 4 to 6, which involve cumulative frequency. Plotting cumulative frequency graphs, finding medians, finding interquartile ranges, that sort of thing. You can download the questions by hitting the link in the description, have a go at the questions, and then watch the film. If you find the film useful, please press like and spread the word and give me some positive feedback. And of course, if you've got any questions, by all means, leave me a question in the comments and I'll respond. Right, let's get on. Question 1. Right, the frequency table shows information about the ages of 60 people on a train. So I'm expecting there to be 60 people in total here. Complete the cumulative frequency table. Okay, so I've got 4 people who are between 0 and 10. But then between 0 and 20, that's going to be the 4 and the 14, isn't it? So that's 18. And then between 0 and 30, it's the 18 I've already got, plus the 17, 35. I'll just continue the process. Another 13 there gives me 48. Another 7, another 3, and another 2. So there you are, 60 people altogether between the ages of 0 and 70. Right, on the grid, draw a cumulative frequency table. Right, now I won't make you watch me do this, but just to remind you that you're going to use the ends of these groups here. So I'm going to plot a cumulative frequency of 4 against an age of 10. Okay, and I'm going to plot a cumulative frequency of 18 against an age of 20. So it's against an age of 10, I'm going to plot 4. Okay, and against an age of 20, I'm going to plot 18. Okay, so that's how I'm going to plot my points. So pause the film now while you plot your points, and when you press play again, I will already have plotted mine. Okay, so there are my points plotted, and now to complete my cumulative frequency graph, I'm going to join them up with a smooth curve, just like that. Okay, use your graph to find an estimate for the interquartile range. So I am interested in the interquartile range. That's not going to be the 30th person because that would be the median. But it's quite useful to identify halfway because for the lower quartile, I want to go to the 15th person here, a quarter of the way, half the first half. And for the upper quartile, I'll want to go to the 45th person, halfway through the second half of the data. So I'm going to be interested in the 15th and the 45th. So I need to find an approximation for the age of the 15th person. So I'm going to draw a line across here. Okay, and then I'm going to draw a line down here and read off an approximation for the age of the 15th person. Well, my 15th person, according to my graph, is 19. Okay, and what about my 45th person? Well, I'll have to go through the same process. So my 45th person is going to cross about there, isn't it? Of course, you should be using a pencil and a ruler. So I'm going to now read off an approximation for the age of my 45th person, which I think is going to be 37. So my estimate for my interquartile range is 37 minus 19, which is 18 years between the 15th person and the 45th person. Right, part D. Use your graph to find an estimate for how many of the 60 people are more than 48 years of age. Right, so I'm going to need to find now 48 and see how many are over the age of 48. So here is 50, so here's 48. I'm going to come up here from 48, and now I'm going to read off how many I have got here. Now, of course, this number, which on my graph is 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's the number of people who are under the age of 48. So for me, over the age of 48 is just 5 people. Okay, because there were 60 people in all, and I reckon that 55 of them are under the age of 48. So 5 people are over. And that is question 1 complete. Question 2, the table shows information about the speed of 60 cycles. So I'm expecting there to be 60 cycles altogether. Complete the cumulative frequency table. Right, well, going between 0 and 10 is 3 of them. And then going between 0 and 20, well, that's going to be all of those. The 3 and the 16 makes 19. Keep on adding up. 19 and 24 is 43, then 53, then 58, and then 60. Good, so I do have 60 bikes, which are going between 0 and 60. So there's my cumulative frequency table. Right, on the grid, draw a cumulative frequency graph for your data. Right, I'll do the first point on the film, and then you can pause the film and do yours, and I'll do mine, and then you can press the film again, press play again, and magically I'll have done them all. Just remember that you plot against the end of the class. So I've got a speed of 10, and I'm going to plot 3 for my cumulative frequency against a speed of 10, because there are 3 that are going up to 10. Let's just do one more. I'm going to plot a speed of 20 for my cumulative frequency of 19. So speed of 20, cumulative frequency of 19. Right, my suggestion is you pause the film and plot your points, and then press play, and miraculously I'll have plotted mine too. Right, so there are my points plotted. So now I'm going to complete my cumulative frequency graph by carefully drawing a smooth line, a smooth curve through my points. Right, use your graph to find an estimate for the interquartile range of the speeds. Right, now I've got 60 bikes in all. Now the 30th one, that would be the median. I'm not interested in that because I'm asked for the interquartile range. So I'm going to want to know the speed of the 45th bike, and I'll also want to know the speed of the 15th bike. Then I'm going to find the difference between those two. So to find an estimate for the speed of the 45th bike, I need to draw a line across from here, and then a line down, and then I need to read off what that speed is. So for me, the 45th bike is going at 32 miles an hour, and I'll need to subtract the speed of the 15th bike. So again, let me zoom this up a bit. So again, I'm going to draw a line across here, and then a line down here, and read off that speed. Well, for me, that's 17. So my interquartile range is 32 minus 17, which is 15. So the difference in speeds between my lower quartile and my upper quartile is 15 kilometers an hour. And that is the end of question 2. Question 3. The cumulative frequency graph shows information about the length in minutes of 80 films. Right, here are the films going up here, all 80 of them. And this is the length of the film in minutes. Okay, use your graph to find an estimate for the interquartile range. Right, well, I've got 80 films in all. Now, the length of the 40th film, that would be the median. But I'm not interested in that because I'm interested in the lower quartile and the upper quartile. If the median is the 40th one, then the lower quartile is going to be the length of the 20th film, and the upper quartile is going to be the length of the 60th film. So let's use our graph to work out an estimate for the length of the 60th film, first of all. So I'm going to draw a line across here with my pencil and ruler, and then I'm going to draw a line down here. And I'm going to read off the length of the 60th film. So for me, the length of the 60th film is 123 minutes. That's the 60th film. Now what about the 20th film? Let's have a look. So I'm going to draw a line across here, and then draw a line down here, and read off the length of the 20th film for me. That looks like 103, 102, 103 minutes. Let's call it 102. I don't think we need to worry about the odd 30 seconds. So the interquartile range is the difference between those two. So 21 minutes is the interquartile range. Okay, now Claire says more than 35% of these films are over 120 minutes long. Is she right? Well, let's see how many of the films are over 120 minutes long, shall we? So, change my colour. I need to find the films which are over 120. Right, let's zoom in up a bit here. Over 120. So I'm going to go 120. Let's read off how many films are under 120. Right. Now, according to me, here, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. For me, 56 of the films are under 120. So up to 120 is 56 films. Now, how many films were there in total? There are 80 films in total, which means that 120 plus is 24 of the films. So I wonder what percentage that is of the films which are over 120. Well, it's 24 out of how many films were there altogether? There were 80 films altogether. So 24 out of 80. Now I'm wondering what that is as a percentage. Let's have a look. Well, that's 3/10. So that's 30%. So Claire says more than 35% of the films are over 220 minutes long. Well, she's wrong, isn't she? Because only 30% of them. So is Claire correct? You must answer that with a yes or a no. No. Give a reason for your answer. 30% of the films are over 120 minutes long. There we go. And that is 5 marks for question 3. Question 4. The table shows information about the number of minutes each of 120 buses was late last Monday. 120 buses, so I'm expecting my frequencies to add to 120. Right, complete the cumulative frequency table below. Okay, so between 0 and 10 minutes late was 10. And between 0 and 20 is the first 10, and that's 16, so that's 26. So I'm going to keep on adding my frequencies. So there's 70 there, 99, 114, and 120. Look at that, they do it up to 120. That's what I hoped. On the grid, draw a cumulative frequency graph for your table. Now, I won't make you watch me plot all the points, but let's plot the first couple together. So remember, you use the end of the class there. So 10 minutes late, cumulative frequency of 10. Oh, look out, got different scales here. Look, 10 minutes late, cumulative frequency of 10. Do you see it's 5 squares for 10 units on the cumulative frequency scale? Let's do the next one. Up to 20 minutes late is 26 of them. Again, I need to be careful plotting this. You don't want to lose marks for messing up your scales. 20 minutes late is 26. That's 20. And remember, it's 2 units for a square. So 26 is 3 squares above the 20. Look, because that's 30. All right. Okay. Why don't you pause the film now and do your plotting, and then you can compare it to my plotting in a moment or two. Right, so here are the points that I've plotted. So now I'm going to complete my cumulative frequency graph by joining up my points with a smooth curve. Here we go. Okay. Right, use your graph to work out an estimate for the interquartile range. Right, well, I've got 120 in all, so the 60th one would be my median. So that means I need to work out my 30th for my lower quartile and my 90th for my upper quartile. So let's do the 90th first. How many minutes late was that 90th bus? Right, I'm going to draw a line across here with my pencil and ruler, and then a line down here to read off that my 90th bus is 36 minutes late. Now, what about the 30th bus? How late was that? So, again, I'm going to draw a line across here and then a line down here to read off that my 30th bus was 21 minutes late. So, my interquartile range is 15. Use your graph to find an estimate for the number of buses that were more than 48 minutes late. Right, more than 48 minutes late. So I'm going to have a look here. I've got 48 minutes late, which is there. Let's see how many buses were less than 48 minutes late, because remember, that's what I'm going to be reading off here. So I've got how many buses were less than 48 minutes late. Now be careful, remember the scale was different. That's 110, 112, so that's 114. So 114 buses were less than 48 minutes late, and there are 120 in all, so that means that there must have been 6 buses which are more than 48 minutes late. And that is the end of that question. You get 7 marks for that. Okay, 7 marks for question 4. Question 5. The table shows information about the times in minutes that 80 patients had to wait to see a doctor. So if there are 80 patients, I'm expecting those frequencies to add up to 80. Complete the cumulative frequency table. Right, so I've got 7 who waited up to 10 minutes, 17 waited up to 20 minutes, those two added together. Let's carry on that process. 32, 64, and 80. Look at that. 80 patients in all waited up to 50 minutes to see the doctor. On the graph below, draw the cumulative frequency table. Right. Just remember that you're going to use the end of those groups. So I'm going to plot a waiting time of 10 minutes. I'm going to give a cumulative frequency of 7. So 10 minutes, the scales are nice and easy this time. So 10 minutes for 7. And then my next group, I'm going to plot 20 against a cumulative frequency of 17. So that's going to be here. Right, why not pause the film, do your plotting, and I'll do the same. Okay, I've plotted my points, so now I'm going to complete my cumulative frequency graph by joining them up carefully with a smooth line. Here we go. Okay. Right. Use your graph to find an estimate for the median. Well, I know that altogether there are 80 patients, so the median is going to be the length of time the 40th patient waited. So I'm going to use my pencil and ruler, draw a line here, and then draw a line down and read off the amount of time that 40th patient waited. And I reckon that the 40th patient waited 34 minutes. So my estimate for the median is 34 minutes. Use your graph to find an estimate for the interquartile range. Right. Well, if the median is my 40th patient, then I'm going to be interested in the 20th patient's waiting time and the 60th patient's waiting time. Let's do the 60th patient first, because that's going to give me the larger number from which I'm going to subtract the smaller number. So, how long did my 60th patient wait? Well, the 60th patient seems to have waited 39 minutes. Now, what about the 20th patient? The 20th patient has waited, what's that? 23 minutes, 24 minutes? I'll call it 23. So my interquartile range is 39 minus 23, which is 16 minutes. Okay, and that completes question 5. How many marks do I get for that? 6 marks for that question. Well, that's a valuable 6 marks towards your overall grade. Question 6. Right, we've got information in the table about the times taken by 90 runners to complete 10k. So I'm expecting these numbers here to add up to 90, since there are 90 runners represented. Right, complete the cumulative frequency table. So how many took between 20 and 35? Well, 12, and that's already given to me here. How many between 25 and 45? That's going to be those 36. Continue the process here. 36 and 28 is 64. Then I'm going to have 76, 86, and 86 plus 4 is 90. Good. Right. Complete the cumulative frequency table. Okay, now remembering that you use the end of these classes. So up to 35 minutes, that is 12 people. Careful your scale here. 12 people is just one square above 10, isn't it? Because this cumulative frequency table is using 5 squares for 10 units. I'll do the second one, then I'll pause the film and continue without you watching. So up to 45 is 36. So 45 is 36. That's 30 there. 3 more squares for 36. Right, I'm going to pause the filming now and continue. And I suggest you do the same. Okay, so I've plotted my points and now I'm going to complete my cumulative frequency graph by drawing a smooth curve through the points. Okay, any runner who completed the race in a time t minutes such that t is between 42 and 52 was awarded a silver medal. Use your graph to find an estimate for the number of runners who were awarded a silver medal. Right, so we're looking for people who were between 42 and 52 minutes. So let's have a look. Right, first of all, let's estimate how many people took less than 42 minutes. Presumably they got a gold, the people who took less than 42 minutes. Let's have a look. So I'm going to draw a line up from 42. Where's 42? Here it is. Up from 42. And then I'm going to read off that, according to me, I'm going to call that 30. So 30 runners were really very quick. Okay, and now what about those runners who did the race in less than 52 minutes? Let's have a look. So find 52 on my x-axis here, and up I go, and I will draw a line across here. Right, it looks to me, now remember you've got that different scale here, haven't you? So that is 58 runners. Don't be tempted to think it's 59. So how many would get a silver medal? Well, 58 ran in less than 52 minutes, but of course 30 of those were very quick, so they would have got golds, I reckon. So 28 runners would have got a silver medal, and that completes that question for 5 marks. Question 7. Right. The cumulative frequency graph gives information about the weights in grams of 90 bags of sweets. It might be useful to remember that there are 90 bags of sweets. Find an estimate for the median weight, the weight. So I'm looking for the 45th, the weight of the 45th bag. Right, so I'm going to draw a line across here. That's 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So I'm drawing a line across here to find the weight of the 45th heaviest bag, the middle bag. There we are. So my estimate for the median is, what is that? Is that 46? I think it probably is 46. So 46 grams is my estimate for the median weight. Right. Roberto sells a bag of sweets to raise money for charity. Excellent. Bags with a weight greater than D grams are labelled large bags and sold for €3.75 each. So he's got some large bags. We don't know how many. He sells them for $3.75 each. The amount of money he receives by selling all the large bags is $93.75. So I can work out how many large bags he sold. So he sold, how many large bags did he sell? Well, I'll do how many 375s in 93.75. 93.75 divided by 3.75. Right, so he sold 25 large bags. Find the value of D. So it's asking me here, what weight has got 25 bags heavier than it? That's not very well explained. So he sells his 25 heaviest bags, and they're all heavier than a weight of D. So let's just have a look at this graph. We need the 25 heaviest. So I'm going to go from 90, that's the 10 heaviest, the 20th heaviest. So I'm going to go from the bag number 65 here. So let's find the weight of the 65th bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, I'm going across here, and I'm going to find the weight of that, because there are 25 bags heavier than 151 grams. So his cutoff must have been 151 grams. So D is 151 grams because there are 25 bags heavier than that. And I know he sold 25 bags because I've divided the amount of money he got by the price. So that is question 7 done. Question 8. The cumulative frequency table. Aha, it's a cumulative frequency table already. Look out. That's cumulative frequency. The cumulative frequency table shows information about the ages of 60 people who went to a gym on Saturday. So you can see that 60 people were between the ages of 10 and 80. Right, that's all the people. Okay. All right. Perhaps we're overcomplicating it because it just asks me now to draw a cumulative frequency graph. So let's simply plot this data on the cumulative frequency graph. Remember, you plot against the end of the class. So I'm going to take an age of 20 and plot that with a cumulative frequency of 13. So 20 as a cumulative frequency of 13. Let me do one more and then we can pause and you don't have to watch me. Next one, an age of 30. I have 36 people less than 30. So 30, 36 people. There we are. It's a nice easy scale this time. So that's the second point. Right, I'm going to do the remaining points. You can do the remaining points. Press play when you've done them. So here are my points, and I'm going to join them up, complete my cumulative frequency graph by joining these up with a smooth line. There we go. Right, use your graph to find an estimate for the median of the ages. Well, there are 60 people. So my estimate for the median is going to be the age of the 30th person on my graph. Right, so let's zoom that up a bit. So the age of the 30th person. Draw a line across here, and then a line down here, and read off the age of my 30th person. I think I've done that very accurately. That's better. Right, so I reckon that my 30th person is 26 years old. Next part, use your graph to find an estimate for the interquartile range. Right, well, my interquartile range is going to be the age of my 45th person. Subtract the age of my 15th person. Okay, so let's get the age of that 45th person first. Right. So my 45th person, I reckon, is 45. As luck would have it. Okay. And from that, I'm going to subtract the age of my 15th person. There we go. Right. Let's draw a straight line here and work out the age of my 15th person. Right. There we go. So my 15th person, I reckon, is 21. So my interquartile range is 45 minus 21, which is 24. Right, last question. Use your graph to find an estimate for the number of these people older than 55. Right, let's have a look. Older than 55. Well, I can see from my graph, I can use my graph to tell me how many people are younger than 55. So what I'll do is I'll draw a line, find the age of 55, and oh, sorry, it's gone all over the place. Here we go, try again. Right, find the age of 55. That's on the horizontal axis. Draw a line up. Now I can see that I have got, according to my graph, 50 people are younger than 55, which means that these 10 people are older than 55. So the question was, use your graph to find an estimate of the number of these people who are older than 55. Answer 10. And that completes that question. Right, well done. I hope you found that useful. If you fancy some harder examples, you will find another film in the playlist which features IGCSE questions from grades 7, 8, 9, that sort of thing. So why not stick with the playlist and have a go at those. Thanks for watching. See you in the next film.